Well, here we go. It's the land of the ice and snow. Finally up here in Minnesota. So, looks like our adventures in Project Mustang, the Iron Horse, are kind of a close for this season. But, doesn't mean we still can't do videos on it, while I can still feel my fingers. And today, I'm going to show you how to get a COWL hood for absolutely free. So even before the COWL hood was even invented yet, people were doing this trick. So what you do is you take your hood, you go to your hinges. Now there's two ways to do this. You can either adjust your hinges where it bolts to the side of your fender, or however your setup is, and adjust them up. Or if you can't do it like that, you go in between your hinge and your hood and you add spacers, like washers. Now what that's going to do is when you close your hood, you're going to have a gap in the back. You're going to have a gap like so. Now, how tall the gap's going to be all depends on how many spacers you use or how far you adjust the hinges up. The front of the hood stays exactly the same. Nothing happens up here. Everything's in the back. So as you can plainly see, this is a COWL hood. This trick actually probably is what invented the COWL hood to begin with. Now I already did a video on this. I did a short actually on this, and that got over 1 million views. Some of you probably already watched that. Here's the thing. When I posted that video, I did not expect it to get 1 million views, okay? I was thinking a couple hundred at most. And you gotta realize a short has to be 59 seconds or less to qualify. In that amount of time, I could not explain to you exactly what is going on here. Well, now I can. Now, once you got your hood adjusted, here's how it's going to work. So as the air comes over your hood, right, this is the boundary layer where the air actually sticks to your hood and it does all kinds of wonky things, okay? The boundary layer is a strange place on a hood. The air can go forward, it can actually go backwards at certain speeds. But when the air finally gets up to the windshield, it has two options. It can either A, go up and over, which most of it does, or it will hit the base of the windshield and actually get redirected back down. That's why they put these vents right here. They're not actually vents though. See, it's a common misconception that those vents come into your engine bay, and on maybe some models they do, but most of the time those vents don't have anything to do with your engine bay. You see, not connected whatsoever. These vents actually lead to the inside of the car and blow air inside for your AC system or your heat, or I have a little vent right down by my feet. It has a pull. So you pull it, it's open, it's blowing, you shut it, then it's shut. So what they were doing back in the day was when they raised up the hood, they took advantage of this air that's getting bounced back and using that to actually go forcing air into your engine bay. But that only happens when you reach a certain speed. Anything lower than that, then yes, it's going to just vent out the hot air. That's good. Anything faster and it forces air in, that's also okay. Some people say it might hurt your cooling system with your radiator. If it does for your vehicle, just don't do it. But give it a try and see if it works. A lot of people say it works, some people say it don't. It could be car specific too. So you don't know until you try. Now this is just a free way to do it. I know a lot of people, they take dryer ducting and they make tubes that come up to the front. That's not in the cards for this video, because this video is supposed to be free. And if you're going to tag me on the washers not being free, you can steal them at any hardware store. Okay? We've all done it. So if you wanted to optimize this even further, you can. You could make a plate, a shield, that actually comes to the back of the hood and goes right here. So all that air doesn't get trapped in there, it flows right to your carburetor. You could do that. Okay, now to address some of the comments and concerns from the shorts video. A lot of people were concerned about water getting in between that gap. Okay, here's what you got to realize about that. When you're driving in the rain hits and comes through your radiator, already getting your engine wet. And all the space underneath, you hit any puddle that's on the road, water gets splashed up into here anyway. Water is not going to hurt your engine or your engine bay. Water is not even going to hurt your engine if it goes down the carburetor. You know what that's going to do? That's actually going to clean the inside of your motor, steam clean it. Because as long as you're not dumping water, which rain is not dumping water, your engine is perfectly capable of absorbing some water and actually decarbonizing the inside of it. People used to do that intentionally in the old days. They'd either pour water or ATF down the carburetor to decarbonize their motors. And you know what? If you have an old motor, it might benefit to you doing that today too. Just bring up the RPM, you trickle in a little water, a little ATF, it'll bog the motor down a bit, you rev it out, a little more, bog down, rev it out, and all that carbon that's on the back of your valves, on the top of your pistons, in your intake runners, all that will get blown out the tailpipe. People did that for a tune-up back in the day. You could still do it now. It has to be carbureted though. Don't try that on a fuel-injected car. The reason is, a carbureted intake is designed to flow fluid through it. An EFI intake is not designed to flow fuel through it, it's only designed to flow air. You start pouring water and stuff down an EFI setup, just stick with the carburetors. That's why these things are better. You know, some people are saying, oh, it ruins the body lines though. I couldn't live with a gap like that. Well, that's to each their own. 'Cause I don't know, to me that gap kind of looks a little racy, you know, I like it. Alright, so here's the last thing I gotta bring up, because this was brought up in the shorts video. People claim if you don't have the money to do it, then just save up, just get the hood, you know, this. If you don't have money, you shouldn't be doing this stuff. Okay, look, here. It's not that I don't have the money to buy a hood. I have a teardrop hood, I need to sand it, I need to paint it before it goes on the car. This is not about if you have money to do something or if you don't have money to do something for me. This is to show the people who aren't as fortunate as I am to be able to buy a hood, little tricks, little tips that they can do to improve their automobile. Because really, hot rodding is not who has the most money. Hot rodding is who's smarter than the other people. Okay? Alright. I'll catch you next time.